Today's video is about You Only Live Once, YOLO. To elaborate on this topic, I got inspired a little when I was watching one podcast yesterday or the day before yesterday. So basically, it is said pretty much that this year was not pretty good for many people. Wars happening, conflicts between two huge nations which hold really great value on a global scale, and many other aspects where individual kind of are in a conflict with themselves or suffering in many different ways. In the midst of all of this, how can one still take the time out or have the headspace to kind of look at life optimistically? How the person can still hold positivity dear to that individual, basically dear to him or her. Easier said than done, very honestly. I made quite a few videos, if not a lot, then some at least. And I have shared a lot of philosophies, ideologies, principles, ethics. And genuinely speaking, it is really truly said. It is truly said that, when one is in sort of a bad position, it's very easy for anyone to advise. It's very tough for that person to kind of look at life positively or optimistically. Coming back to basically what I was saying, that yesterday I got inspired by a podcast, right? And in there, basically, acceptance sort of is really important in such cases. So those two people were talking about. I'm not going to mention their names for whatever reason. Uh, so those two people were saying that like this helped them sort of uh, channelize or reflect. I'm just putting all of this in my own words. Channelize and reflect on what they have been doing. This was sort of like a ego breaking movement of the individual, that okay, I'm not perhaps invincible. And it's very difficult to accept when one has set a goal and they want to reach there or want to you know get that no matter what, no matter how much team building you do, and how, like, what sort of a great momentum you must be having, if the time or something which does not permit, that person won't get there, or per se that person would have to accept that okay, perhaps this is not the right moment to think that way. It's sort of like a character building movement as well. One has to somehow understand that okay, this is perhaps the pitfall, and I already knew that there are always ups and downs in the process of where you want to be. But when one actually experiences that pitfall or the downfall, its theoretical knowledge is way different than what one experiences practically. Especially when the sort of setback or shortcoming is very unpredictable, not in one's control, can't do anything about it, just embrace and put all your strength to the test. It gets difficult, but I feel one has to sort of embrace it, and have to keep this in mind that this too shall pass, you know, and time heals everything, I feel, you know. So in that podcast, basically, I got to learn that no matter how much of a great person that individual must be, when when the ego breaks, a person has to accept. I'm sort of on a repetition. I'm going to move ahead from this. But when that phase of acceptance actually arrives, I would like to say that it's a sign of a progress because you've already turned stronger. You're no more that same person anymore. If, let's say, for a whole year or 2 years, you're doing the same thing monotonously, I mean, it's fine. I know that consistency is really important. Please do so, all right? But if there is no sort of character development, if there is no change in your art, craft, or any sort of knowledge, experience, or any sort of growth in any way, then the person has not changed, the person has not improved, that person is still there. Of course, the consistency of anything, be it fitness, be it your work, be it your social network, anything, if you're consistent with that, definitely there is going to be a growth. But if there is same pattern and there is same ideologies, same principles and ethics, that has its own perks. But I feel uh, if this has happened, that okay, you're not able to do the same things right now, but still on some level you're consistent in some or the other form, but now things have changed, your perspective, your approach perhaps would be more different. You started to live, you started to look at life in a much more different way, where you want to enjoy your life better than before. You want to um, enjoy the process. I mean, you knew it perhaps way before that you have to enjoy the process more than the results, be it success or failure. It's just uh, what life has taught you stays with you, and perhaps you want to inspire other people with that. I don't know how much of sense I'm making right now, but yeah, I can just to sort of like give you more idea about what those two people were talking about, is that like when this phase of transformation actually takes place, where okay, your ego building has done its job, and now your ego breaking has taken place, and now moving past that, what's next? Acceptance. And then from acceptance is the time when the next step comes to you. So when we were talking about like optimism and positivity, there are some theories. You can perhaps find books about this, and I don't recall the names which basically they had put forth, or the books, but it was basically like you're talking, you're basically training your mind how to think positively again. You're talking to sort of like every cell in your body that okay, no, it's fine. uh, yes, from here on out, some things are going to change positively. Your life is going to start taking shape positively, and that has a massive impact. Trust me, it doesn't come easy, because let's say you had a bad patch for a period of 5 to 6 months. So you trained your mind to think that way, be it like negatively or a little bit of worry, concern, fear. It doesn't go away that easy. You have to train your mind, you have to practice that again. And I've put that video way before. Everything starts with a small step, but you have to start. And you have to do that diligently to get out of that phase. There are many methods to kind of make this happen. Perhaps you can get busy in some or the other form, like go out there, like meet different types of people, do something productive, do something which will make you feel good, be generous, be kind to other people. If it's very difficult, start with anything which is really small, or which will help you, which will suit you, which will be favorable to you. There has to be a start. Adios.